Hey everyone, it's Colin with Willowsford Farm. Today I wanted to do something slightly different. I've been talking about vegetables with you since that's kind of the primary thing that we do here, but I did want to introduce you to our pigs. So each year we raise around 20 pigs, but we're doing something new this year, and that is we are going to do our own breeding. So historically we've bought in feeder pigs at a young age. After they've been weaned, we raise them out for about 6 months, and then we process them for our pork products. This year, however, we're going to try something slightly different. So we've selected these 3 ladies from the batch that we had earlier this year to be our future moms. So these are, it's called Tamalitsa, and it's actually a cross between 2 breeds of pigs. We've got the Tamworth, which is kind of a long and lean hog. It's been referred to as the American meat hog because it's less fatty than a lot of other ones, but still has a really nice flavor profile. And then there's the Mangalitsa, which is kind of the polar opposite. You've got a much stouter frame with a lot higher fat content, and it's primarily known for being a lard pig. That is a high fat content, really flavorful. But the 2 of them together crossed make some really beautiful pigs. And so you see, well, they're fighting back there. You see a little bit of each of their characteristics. So the plan is to breed these with Tamworth genetics. The idea being we want to have a nice lean meat, but still maintain the flavor that is present in the Mangalitsa. So hopefully that cross will be a really nice meat quality or eating quality meat by the end of it. We haven't bred yet because it's kind of the high summer here, and usually fertility rates drop when it's really hot out. And so we're actually going to hold on to these gals and wait until the weather cools a little bit. And then we're actually going to do artificial insemination. We thought about keeping a boar or getting a boar on site, but given that this is our first attempt at breeding, and given that we don't produce a ton of pork, we're gonna go with artificial insemination and just see if that works for our systems. We keep them in a pastured system, so I don't know how well you can see this in the video, but we've selected a few spots on the farm that are maybe a little bit more marginal when it comes to, say, productive capacity for vegetables. So this area here is obviously really overgrown. There's a lot of cedars in the back there that provide good shade coverage for the pigs. Not anything that would make sense to try to grow any vegetables or fruits on at this point. And so instead, we rotate these gals through these marginal pieces of ground so that we can use that space so that they can beat down some of the undesirables, the weeds, the invasives, etc. And then we'll move them onto a new piece of ground where they can kind of repeat that process. So we like to have a pretty diverse diet for our pigs. We do give them a standard swine grower feed. It's a non-GMO grain-based thing that we get from a local producer here. Obviously, we give them some scraps from the farm. Right now they're enjoying some watermelon that came off the pack line for being a little too soft. But we also like to keep them on pasture because that can be not only a healthy way of raising a pig because they're out doing what pigs do, but also it can supplement their diet. So they're going to be rooting around, finding grubs, finding frogs, finding insects, whatever else that they can find in the mud here, and that will be part of their diet. Plus they get sort of natural minerals through the consumption of plant material, through the consumption of soil, just from rooting around out in the pasture. The main thing that we're trying to keep in mind now when it's high summer is making sure that they can stay cool. So we do that a couple different ways. 1, they have access to all that shaded area back in the trees there. But 2, you've probably heard of a wallow, which is basically just a big mud puddle. So pigs don't sweat in the same way that we do. And so in order to keep themselves cool, they flop down in the mud. You can probably see they're kind of covered in mud right now. Flop down in the mud so that as that water evaporates off their skin like it would if we were sweating, they can then release some of that body heat. So it's critically important that they have access to those wallows, to shade, because just the other day it was 98 degrees here, air temp, and so we want to make sure that they're comfortable, make sure that they're safe, and have everything they need to be happy. So thanks for tuning in again. Maybe I'll show you the chickens next time, but for now, I hope you've enjoyed watching these pigs. Literally pig out on watermelons behind me. As always, thanks for your support. If you're interested in joining the conversation, like, subscribe, comment below. Tell us what you think about the pigs. If you've tried our pork, let us know what you think of it. And I guess we'll see you again soon.